Sometimes the biggest battles in life start quietly, not with shouting, not with weapons, but with a meeting. A meeting where people decide that you must fall. One night in Lagos, 5 powerful men sat around a glass table inside a quiet restaurant lounge. Outside, the city lights shimmered like nothing was wrong. But inside that room, something dangerous was happening. One of the men leaned forward and spoke in a low voice. "That young man is becoming a problem." Another man scoffed. "He refuses to cooperate." A third man shook his head. "And because of him, others are beginning to question us." Then the oldest among them spoke, slowly, calmly. "If he refuses to join us, we will destroy him." They had money, they had influence, they had connections. What they didn't know was that heaven had heard their plan, and God was about to step into the story. A man who feared God. Daniel Adeyemi was not famous. He was not powerful. He was not rich. He was simply a procurement officer working for a large construction company in Lagos. His job looked ordinary. He reviewed contracts, approved suppliers, signed documents. But Daniel had one rule. If something was not right, he would not sign it. Many people laughed at him. Some said he was too stubborn. Others said he was naive. Because in the city where shortcuts made people rich overnight, Daniel chose integrity. His father had once told him something he never forgot. Integrity is expensive, but corruption costs more. And Daniel believed that with all his heart. One afternoon, Daniel received an invitation to a meeting. The location was an expensive office in Ikoyi. When he arrived, 5 powerful contractors were already seated inside the boardroom. They welcomed him warmly, so warmly. The leader of the group smiled. "Daniel, we have heard good things about you." A thick file was placed in front of him. "Just review this contract and approve it." Daniel opened the file, and immediately something felt wrong. The numbers were inflated. Millions of naira. Money that should build schools. Money that should repair roads. Money that should help communities. Daniel slowly closed the file. Then he looked up. "I'm sorry, sir." The room became quiet. "I can't approve this." One of the men laughed in disbelief. "You must not understand." Daniel shook his head gently. "No, sir. I understand very well." Another man leaned forward angrily. "Everyone benefits from this." Daniel's voice remained calm. "I serve God first. I cannot do it." The leader's smile disappeared. "You are making a mistake." Daniel stood up slowly. Maybe he was making a mistake, but he said something that would echo later. God is able to defend those who choose him. And then he walked out. After Daniel left, the 5 men sat in silence. One of them slammed his hand on the table. "He embarrassed us." Another spoke angrily. "If people hear about this, others will start refusing." The leader leaned forward, cold, calm. "We cannot allow that." So what do we do? The answer came quietly. We remove him. And just like that, 5 powerful men joined forces against one honest man. The first attack came quietly. An internal investigation suddenly began at Daniel's company. Documents appeared showing suspicious payments. Emails surfaced that Daniel supposedly sent. Contracts with his signature. But Daniel had never approved them. Rumors spread through the office. That honest guy, I knew something was strange. No one is that clean. Everywhere Daniel walked, people whispered. The pressure grew heavier each day. But every night, Daniel knelt beside his bed and prayed, Lord, I did the right thing. His voice sometimes trembled. But I cannot fight these people. He paused, then whispered something powerful. But you can, God. When the investigation did not destroy him quickly enough, the enemies moved again. A news blog released a story online. Corrupt procurement officer exposed. Daniel's picture was there. His name was there. The story spread across social media. Phones began ringing. Messages poured in. Friends asking questions. Colleagues whispering. Even his mother called him in tears. My son, what is happening? Daniel tried to sound strong. Mommy, don't worry. But when the call ended, he sat quietly in his room and cried. One evening, Daniel walked into a quiet church. The building was empty. The lights were dim. He knelt beside a wooden bench and bowed his head. Father, I cannot defend myself. Tears fell slowly. But to see everything, then he remembered a story in the Bible when enemies gathered against Joshua and God fought for his people. Daniel whispered softly, Lord, please fight for me too. And then he waited. Meanwhile, something strange began happening to the 5 men. One of them suddenly lost a government contract worth millions. Another faced an unexpected tax investigation. A third began receiving legal threats from regulators. Their businesses started shaking. Meetings became tense. Phones kept ringing. Lawyers were suddenly involved. The same men who felt untouchable now felt pressure closing in. But the biggest surprise was still coming. Inside the company's IT department, a junior technician named Ibrahim noticed something strange. The emails used to accuse Daniel had unusual server patterns. So he investigated further. Hours passed. Then his eyes widened. The emails were fake. Someone had hacked the system, and the digital trail pointed outside the company to a consulting firm. A consulting firm connected to one of the contractors. Ibrahim leaned back in shock. Daniel had been framed. The next morning, Ibrahim requested an urgent meeting with the company board. He presented all the evidence, the fake emails, the hacked servers, the external network trail. The room fell silent. Then the chairman spoke. Call Daniel. When Daniel entered the boardroom, he didn't know what to expect. The chairman looked at him calmly. You have been cleared. Daniel blinked in confusion. The chairman pushed the investigation report toward him. You were framed. Daniel stared at the pages. His hands trembled slightly. Tears filled his eyes. As the truth spread, authorities began investigating the contractors involved. Hidden financial records were exposed. Illegal payments were discovered. Government contracts were suspended. Bank accounts were frozen. One by one, the same men who tried to destroy Daniel began facing consequences. Their power could not save them. Their influence could not protect them. It was as if an invisible hand was dismantling everything they built. Months later, Daniel stood in a company hall as the board announced his promotion. People clapped around him, but Daniel didn't feel proud. He felt grateful. That evening, he returned to the same church where he once cried. The building was quiet again. Daniel knelt down, but this time his prayer was different. "Thank you, Father." His voice was steady. "You fought for me." Because sometimes, when enemies gather against someone who belongs to God, he still fights. Just like he did long ago, and just like he did for Daniel, right there in Lagos.